Good morning and welcome to our first day of Walking and Chatting with Claude here on YouTube. This is going to be a 30-day challenge where I walk and talk with you guys every single day. Not only should it be pretty relaxed, I am just here to try to get comfortable with you and you get comfortable with me, getting to know me every single day. I figured this would be an easier way for us to, meet one another, and then the vlogs will come every Sunday still. That's the plan anyway. So try to hold me accountable. I'll be holding myself accountable. Anyway, what we'll be doing is I'll be walking every single day through my neighborhood, which I do already anyway. Some days it'll be with Roxanne. Some days it'll just be with me. And we'll just be talking about different topics every day. Some mental health stuff, some mom stuff, some work stuff. So if you've got some topics you'd like me to discuss, please feel free to drop them down below. But I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible with very minimal edits. I am actually walking though, so sometimes like right now I'll be out of breath a little bit because we're going uphill, but this is helpful to get my steps in because I work in an office. If you don't know that, I work in an office, so some days I get like 2,000 steps. It's actually very, very sad. And then even when I get on the treadmill and try to add in some steps, it'll get me like 5,000. So hopefully adding this in the morning will help me with my weight loss goals. Why do I have weight loss goals, you might be asking, because you are new here. I had a baby, he's 2.5 now, so my body's been destroyed for the last 3 years or so, and I have taken the steps over the last 6 months, I would say, but really taking it seriously in the last week or so to really focus on my body, what I'm putting in it, trying to feel comfortable in my clothes, and making sure that I'm doing the best that I possibly can to be the best that I can. We're gonna turn around here. So hopefully these morning walks with you guys will help me with that as well. My name is Claudia. I live in Atlanta. I work in finance and I'm a chief of staff in private equity. I've just recently got the official promotion. I've been calling myself that for months because I've been kind of operating in that role, but more recently it's been official, and that's been really exciting. A little bit about that in case you're interested. My career, since it's an intro talk, I'll go into all of that with you guys as well. My career has kind of pivoted all over the place. When I got out of college, I wanted to work in film, which is exactly what I did. I thought I wanted to be a line producer for a long time, so that was kind of the goal. So I went the production office route. So that means I was a production assistant for quite some time. Then I transitioned into being a travel coordinator. And then from travel coordinator, I had kind of planned on pivoting back to production coordinator, production, coordinator, then line producer. I don't know. It's above me now. But that was kind of my trajectory. But I spoke with a woman at the time who was pretty clear about, if you look at the person who you think you want to be, and if the life that they're living is not what you want to live, then you should pivot to do something else. And I was looking, and one, there weren't that many women, and the women that were there weren't married and they didn't have any kids. So I was like, well, I don't think that's what I want for myself. Plus the hours were kind of bad. And now looking back, it's like any job that you have, in my opinion, I don't know, I would be interested to hear what you guys have to say about this, but any job that you have where you care about it, and the higher you get, the more work it actually takes, and that's just kind of how it goes, I think. And at the time, anyway, well, we're here now. At the time, I didn't think that I wanted to work after 5, but now I just know that's sort of a part of the journey. But in my 20s, I definitely didn't realize that. Anyway, so I pivoted out of film, and that was very, very hard because in film you make really good money because of the hours that you're working and all that stuff. So the pivot kind of hurt. Moved into sales for Varsity Spirit, which was really great, but the job was not for me. I'm not a seller. Really great with people. Could have upsold a lot of things because I'm really great with people, but I did not enjoy selling to people that necessarily didn't need new uniforms. I'm not gonna, it just turned into a lot, right? People were like, oh, I gotta pay my rent this month or pay for pom-poms, and that didn't feel very good. Anyway, so I pivoted out of sales in that capacity pretty fast, moved over to recruiting, which I really enjoyed, but I moved to a sales recruiting job, which is what a lot of people who get into recruiting do. And I learned a lot from that job, I'm not gonna lie. Over at, I'm not gonna name the company name, but it was, a sales company doing recruiting, and then I moved from there to in-house recruiting for a pretty big company, and I was there for about a year. This was during COVID, so it was a lot of hopping around, a lot of opportunity for recruiters at the time because people were looking for jobs. So moved from one company to another, was really enjoying the recruiting, internal recruiting, helping people with careers, really great. And then, the whole thing kind of blew up. I was a part of a huge layoff. They laid off like 80,000 people at the company. And then I was having a baby, so I just took FMLA. My mom was sick at the time, and then had a baby, and then got back into the workforce after Ashton got here, who I call my coworker, in a senior executive assistant position because of all of the things that I had done before. Then the CEO from that position retired, I guess, and I was kind of left sitting, and I could have stayed at that job. They had other opportunities for me, but I was like, this is my career and I want to own it. And at the time, there was a senior EA position open in private equity that was looking for, was a head of administration role at a small private equity firm that a friend of mine worked at and thought I would be really good at. So I interviewed and I got the job, and now it's been a year and 6 months, and since film, honestly, this has been the longest running job that I've had. And what's positive about it is that I get to touch so many things and I'm learning so much, which is exactly what I always said was missing in all of my positions. Like, I want to own things, and I want to learn, and I want to keep learning. Like, I don't want to learn the position and then you're just sitting and it's like the same like rat race over and over again. And this role, let me tell you, is that. So I continue to learn. My boss is super duper smart, and like easily the smartest person I think I've probably ever known, which has been really challenging in ways, but also very, 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 very good and great in the other ways, right? So it has made me a better worker for sure, and that's exciting. So anyway, I'm not really sure how we got there on the career piece. Oh, you guys want to know I got the chief of staff role. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing, and so now I'm a chief of staff, and so I help the deal team specifically, and that's like a whole nother learning curve that I'm trying to make sure that I'm up and ready for. So that's what we're doing now. Yeah, anyway, back to this 30-day challenge. So inside of doing that, I also coach the dance team. We start our season again in August, so we've had a pretty good break, and I'm not gonna lie, I really leaned into the break this year. I needed it. Just so many things happening. I feel like after you become a mom, you don't really know who you are anymore. And you don't really even realize that you are trying to figure out what that really means for a while. And I feel like that's kind of the space that I'm in. So anyway, I'm not sure how we got here or where we are, but that's the goal. And so we'll be walking every day, we'll be chatting every day, and that will be exciting. And hopefully I get better at storytelling, which clearly I need because I have no idea where we are, and continue to get to know you guys. I really am interested in creating a community of people who understand me and I get to meet and learn about and just take you along this journey, because I want to look back and really be able to talk through, what's going on in my life and how it's been, look back and see what's been happening and see how we've pivoted, and things that I thought that I wanted, that I worked for and showed up for, which is half of this whole challenge, right? Like, I keep saying I want to do this, but I just keep finding excuses on why I'm not going to do it, and that is sad, and so I want to hold myself accountable, and the only way to do that is to make this as minimal to my life, which is already kind of chaotic, and I feel like that's most of us, right? I feel like most of us can attest to wanting things but not making the time to do them, and I don't want to keep being someone who does that. So hopefully doing a challenge every day with something that's minimal editing and just me walking and talking to you guys and like letting out my thoughts and figuring out a good way to tell these kind of stories is something that you're into. If you're still here this late in the video, I really appreciate you. I'm really excited to get to know you. Please leave comments, subscribe. I'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll be talking about, I have a topic tomorrow instead of me just kind of telling you a little bit about myself. This ended up being a career chat, which I didn't even realize we were going to do, but people ask me all the time how I ended up as a chief of staff, and I know there's so many people looking to pivot in their lives, so I'm always happy to have those kind of conversations, and they're definitely needed in this space because I have been looking for this kind of thing on the internet and haven't really been able to find it a bunch. It's like a bunch of 20-year-olds who have free time, or maybe they don't have free time. I don't know what they got going on, but it's just a lot of people in their 20s that I found, or people in their like 60s and 80s, which I think is so fire. Like, why not me, you know? Why can't I be someone who shows up for myself and does the kind of things that I want? So that's what we're gonna do. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you again here tomorrow, right in this same space, in these same streets, and we will talk soon. Bye.